Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to discuss about lists in Python. So lists are similar to arrays in JavaScript, and in a Python list you can store multiple data of maybe different data types or maybe the same data type. So let's jump into an example and see how lists work in Python. So on my screen you can see that I have created a list which is basically a list of the days of the week. So I'm trying to store the names of the days of the week, that is Sunday, Monday, so on till Saturday. So this list is having a length of 7. So my first step will be to print this list which I have created. So the command to do that is print followed by the list name. And to execute this particular file, we will use the inbuilt terminal that VS Code provides us. You can click this new terminal link here. So this terminal is similar to the Windows PowerShell, wherein you can type in your Python commands and execute the files. So let's jump into the execution part of this particular file. So if you have seen my previous videos, then you might already know how to execute a Python file. So I will write Python followed by the file name, that is list.py. So if I execute this file, so you can see that the output is printed, which is basically the list and the contents of that list. So now let's move on to the next example where I wanted to list the first item, where I wanted to display the first item in the list. So how can I do that? To display the first element of a list, I have to specify the index as 0. So one thing you have to remember is in lists, the indexes starts from 0. So for example, the Sunday here has an index of 0, followed by Monday having an index of 1, Tuesday having 2, and so on till Saturday. So the last item, Saturday, has an index of 6 here because the list is of length 7 and we start from 0. So Saturday has an index of 6. So I'll save this file and execute this command again. And now you can see that the first output is same as early. So you can now see that the first output is same as earlier, but you can also see that there is a new output which says Sunday, and this is the first item in the list. So we have tried to print the first item in the list in our second step, and you can see that it's getting printed now. So I will comment these two print statements and then we will move on to the next example. So the next example is to print the last item in the list. So how do we do that? The last item in the list can be accessed by using the -1 index, which means one item from the last. So let's see how it looks like in the output. So you can see that the output is printed as Saturday, and as you are aware that Saturday is the last item in our list. So this is working all fine. So I have to comment this now for moving on to our next example. So next example is to get the list items in a range. So suppose you want to print all the items in the list that starts from index 1 here till the item at index 3. So I can write it in this format where the first item shows the starting index and the last number here shows the ending index. So you have to be aware that this means the first item here is included, but the last item here, which is at index 3, is not included. So let's see after we execute this particular file how the output looks like. So you can see that the output looks like this, wherein it prints Monday and Tuesday. So if you remember, the index starts from 0, so hence it does not include Sunday, but it includes Monday, which is at index 1. It also includes Tuesday, which is at index 2, but it does not include Wednesday, which is at index 3. I hope this is clear. So I'm moving on to the next example. So in this particular example, we have just provided the ending index. So everything which is before 3, that is the third index, should be printed. So let's execute this file again. And you can see that the output shows Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, which means the item at index 0, 1 and 2 gets printed, and it does not print the item at third index. So commenting this out and moving on to the next example, this is again a range example wherein we provide the first item here, which is the starting index, and here I am providing 3, and I'm not providing the ending index, which means everything that starts from 3 till the end of the list should be printed. So let's see the output here. So you can see that the output is from Wednesday till Saturday. So Wednesday, if you remember, was the item at third index, so it starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2 and 3. So Wednesday is the third index item. Now I will comment this out again, and moving on to the next example. So this is again a range example wherein we provide the negative indexes. So if you remember, the negative index means we are starting from the end of the list. That means we will start from -5 and we go till -1. So -1 is the last item, and -5 means we start from -1. So -1, -2, -3, -4 and -5. So here -5 means Tuesday. So it will include Tuesday and it should print till the last item, but not include the last item. So let's see how the output looks like. So you can see, as expected, it prints Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, but not Saturday, because this is the last item which we have mentioned here in the range. Now I will comment this example and we move on to the next item, which is assigning a value to the list. I'm uncommenting these two rows and let's see how this looks like. So suppose you want to assign a value to a particular index of a list, and in our case the list contains the name of the days of the week, and I want to make the first item in this list as 1. So instead of Sunday, I want to store 1 in this list. So how can I do that? I can do this by following this particular syntax. I specify the index, the list and the value which I want to assign. So I'm printing this updated list and let's see what the output is. So now you can see that the updated list gets printed and the first item in this list is 1 and rest of the list remains the same, which shows that we were successfully able to update our list. Now I am commenting this particular example and then we will move on to the next example, which is check if an item is present in a list. So suppose you want to check whether Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or a random text is present in a particular list. So for this particular example, we are checking whether Monday is present in our list which contains the days of the week. And this check will return a Boolean value. So we will talk more about Boolean value later in another video, but for now I will just tell you that Boolean means either false or true. So in our case, it should return true because Monday is already in our list, and it would return false if I type in some random text here. Okay, and that value is saved into this variable which is check, and if I try to print that variable which is check, it should print either true or false. So in this particular example, I expect that the output should say true. So let's see what happens when we try to execute this particular file. So as expected, you can see that the output is true, which means Monday is present in our list. So I will comment this out now and we move on to the next example. So in this particular example, we are going to print the length of the list. So as expected, it prints 7, which means the length of this particular list is 7. Now I will comment this out and we move on to the next example. So this example tells us how we can add something to the end of the list. So considering our previous example of the list wherein we have the list containing the name of all the days of a week, but now I want to append or add a particular text, maybe say January, towards the end of this list. So my new list should look like this plus January here, okay, towards the end. So if I do this and print, you can see that the output contains January at the end of the list, and how I have done this is the list name dot append followed by the text that I want to append. So this is the syntax that we have to follow if we want to add something towards the end of the list. I'm commenting this out and we will see the next example. So this example shows you how you can remove a particular item from the list. In this case, we are trying to remove Tuesday from our list, and you can see the syntax here. So before explaining the syntax, we will see the output. So you can see that Sunday, Monday, and there's no Tuesday here but Wednesday, which means Tuesday has been removed from our list, and the syntax we have to follow is list name dot remove, then followed by the braces and then the string that you want to remove from the list. Commenting out this example and moving on to the next one. So what if you want to remove the last item from the list? For example, in this case, if you want to remove Saturday, from the list. So there's an easy way to do that. You just have to do the list name dot pop. So pop means it removes the last item from the list, and it also returns that value which you can catch in a variable. So in this example you can see that I have caught this removed item into my removed underscore item variable, and I am also printing that item. So if you look at these two print statements, I'm printing the updated list, and then I'm also printing the item that was removed from the list. So let's see how this output looks like. So you can see that the updated list is here, which has removed the last item, which was Saturday. And then you can also see that it has printed Saturday separately. This is because of the second print statement where I print the removed item. I hope this is clear to you. Now I'm commenting this out and we will move on to the next example. So in this particular example, we are trying to delete an item at a particular index. For example, if you want to remove an item at say index 1 or 2 or 3, then you can follow this particular format. So you can write del followed by the list name, followed by the square brackets, and then the index. We will look into this example and the output in a while. So this is the output. So you can see that the item which was at index 3. So what was there at index 3? So Sunday is 0, Monday is 1, Tuesday is 2, and Wednesday is at 3. So as per this example, it should have removed Wednesday from the list. So let's see what was the output. So the output has Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and there's no Wednesday. So this is as expected. Okay, so I'm commenting this example as well now, and we move on to the next one. So in this particular example, you see how we can copy one list to another list. So for example, if you want to copy the whole list of the name of the days of the week, and then you want to have another list containing the same data for maybe some other processing in your program. So how you can do that, the syntax is the list name dot copy, and then the value received from this can be saved into another variable, and this variable will act as the new list. And then I'm printing this value here so that we can see what's the output or what's the value in list 2. So you can see that list 2 when printed has the same data as it was there in list 1, so which means we have successfully copied the data from list 1 to list 2. Okay, I'm commenting this example as well, and we move on to the next one, which is to join two lists. So suppose we have two lists, which is list 1 and list 2. And we want to join these lists together. So in this particular example, I am adding list 1, list 2, and the result is stored into list 3, and then I'm printing list 3. So for this example to work, we should also have list 2 here, and I already commented it here. I should uncomment it. So now our code should work because we have both list 2, list 1, and the combination of these two is saved into list 3, and we are trying to print the list 3 value. So let's see what's the output. Now you can see that it prints the days of the week twice, which means both the lists are merged together into a single list, which is list 3, and when we print list 3, it shows the whole data which is repeated twice. That's what we expected. Okay, so now I move on to the next example. I comment the previous one and uncomment the next one. So this is similar to the previous example, but in this case we call a function called extend in order to merge two lists together. So in this example you can see that we call the list name dot extend followed by the braces, and then we put the second list name here. And then we print the first list, and we should be able to see the same output as we saw earlier. So let's try this out. So if you see the output, it's exactly the same as we had earlier, which means we have two different ways of merging together two different lists or multiple lists together. Yeah. So I comment this also, and we move on to the next example. So in this particular example, we are going to see how we can remove the data from a list. So the syntax is list name dot clear. So when you call this particular method of a list, then the contents of the list is gone, and then we are trying to print this list and see what's there in this list after we clear it. So let's see what the output is. So if you see, the output shows two braces with no data here, which means everything is cleared from our list. So that's all for today, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video. So now comes the homework for you. So today's assignment is you have to create a list which is a combination of the month names followed by the month numbers, okay? And these should be two different lists, and you have to merge them together to form this last output, which is saved into a third list. And you have to print the third list so that you get this output. Okay, so if you did not understood the question, I will repeat it again. So you have to create two different lists. One list contains the name of the months, the second list contains the number of the months, and you have to merge these lists together and form a third list which contains the name of the month as well as the number of the months together, and you have to print this list so that you get an output like this. I hope this is clear to you now. Okay, so that's all for today, and thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed today's video, then please like this video, share it with your friends, and also don't forget to comment with the solution to the home assignment that I have given you today. And if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, please subscribe it now and also press the bell icon so that you get notified when I upload my next video on the Python tutorial. Okay, so thanks for watching this video. Have a great day. Bye.